Fellow tennis nerds, I hope all is well. Today, I'm happy to talk to Patrice Chabrel, Senior Product Manager at Tecnifibre. We're going to talk about the new Tfights and their other products in their line and more. But first of all, how are you today, Patrice?
I'm very fine, thank you. Hope everybody is okay and ready to ask any question.
Yeah, exactly. Any questions in the comments would be interesting as well. So you've been with Tecnifibre a long time, like you told me 18 years. Like, what's your background in tennis and how did you end up at Tecnifibre?
Yeah, quite long time. So in fact, I'm a tennis player. I've been playing tennis almost all my life. I started when I was very young. I played at competition level. I still play at competition. So I'm passionate about tennis, about racket sports. I always wanted to work in the sports industry, tennis industries. I just started my career at New Balance for tennis footwear. And then I joined Tecnifibre. And as you said, I stayed a long time, many years at Tecnifibre. I've been involved in product and marketing for more than 15 years. I've been in charge of all the product categories. So I'm the guy to ask for technical and marketing questions. And now I've been the last 5 years in charge of the racket categories. So for tennis, padel, and squash.
Wow. Okay. So quite the experience. That's great. So how often do you play tennis? You play a lot then if you're...
So I play every week because, it's a passion. And of course, we're involved in product development. We are testing all the products and I test myself. The best way to understand the feeling of the racket. So we play every week. Yeah.
Great. So now you have 3 racket lines, right? You have the TF40, the Tfight, and the TFX1. What would you say, like, which player should go for which racket in this lineup?
So, our top performance range, you see, is divided in 3 different ranges. We have each range is really clarified by one benefit. So on the left side, you have the TFX1, which is the power-oriented range with a unique technology, the X-Dump. So it's power with unique comfort technology. Then on the other side, you have the TF40, precision, more control-oriented. And then in the middle, Tfight, the versatile range, the best mix between power and control, played by most of our top players. So if you say which player should play with which racket, it's more the benefit you are looking for. Because in each range, we have products engineered differently with different specs to match from top competition level until the younger player, the first adult racket. So it's more if you look for best power, you go for TFX1, best control for TF40. If you are more looking for an all-around racket, versatile, you go for the Tfight.
Yeah, I think that's great to describe it like that because players should really look for, like, do you want more power, more spin, TFX1, or do you you're not sure, maybe you're like a player that's crafty, you're playing all-court tennis, Tfight is probably the best. And if you can hit really big, like you want maximum control, TF40, like you said. So I think that's a good point. Sometimes players think, like, I'm an aggressive player, what racket should I use? But it depends what you need more of. So
exactly.
I think you pointed it out really well. So the Tfight is the most iconic line in your racket history as Tecnifibre, and what has been like the thing that made that so powerful as a racket, and in terms of like how popular it is, and what is new in this one?
You're right. Tfight is our flagship franchise, as we say. See the racket you see the most on the court, in the shops, played by most of the players. And in fact, it's true that Tfight imposed itself as the range that is mostly played by all of our top players, but also most of our entire team. See the Tecnifibre coaches, most of them, they are playing with Tfight. And I think the Tfight, it's because now it's really the most versatile racket, really the best mix between power and control. So that's why it appeals to many different types of players. And in fact, everybody can play with Tfight. You can see that really if you look at our team of players. You see Daniel, it's really the baseline players, the kind of counter-attacker. Iga, she is the puncher, lots of spin, attacking the ball. Eubanks or Bublik, they would do serve and volley. All of them, they have a very different play style. but they play with Tfights. So it's really that makes it really the ultimate racket.
Yeah, it's a great frame, especially the new one. I really like it. What's new in the new one besides the beautiful white glossy cosmetic?
Yeah, so it's true that within the years, the Tfight has evolved very much. Tfight, I think, with this new launch, we could celebrate the 20 years of the Tfight master brand. And so the Tfight, when it started, it was a control-oriented frame 20 years ago, really aiming at the top players, very control-oriented with a thin frame, a very square section. And within the years, it has evolved toward more versatility and really making it the all-around racket, best mix between power and control. And so it has evolved. And the new version, we really pushed it even more. You know, when we developed the product, we said Tecnifibre, we are the players company, and everything starts with the players. And with Tfight, it was exactly the case. We analyzed in detail all the rackets played on tour, the real racket played by the players. We did that through the stringing services where Tecnifibre is involved. So we had access to all the rackets played by the player of the top 100 ATP, and we have analyzed the specs. And it's very interesting because we could see many differences in the specs of the racket depending on the generation of the players. Like we can say the old generations, the players more than 35 years old, and now the players of the new gen, the players 20 years old. The rackets, they are different and they have evolved very significantly. They have evolved towards a lighter weight, lighter swing weight, and more powerful frame. So if I sum up this to make it very clear, we see that the tennis game has evolved, and now the tennis game is very fast. It's much faster than 20 years ago. So that's why to play in these faster conditions, the players, they need to react quickly and swing much quicker. So that's why their frame are becoming much more maneuverable. They have more speed. So if we look at the frames of the old generations compared with new generations, the frames are on average 18 grams lighter and 20 points of swing weight less. So their frame are much more maneuverable for their very fast swing. So first, the frame are more maneuverable. And the other evolution is that the head size are becoming also bigger. Now, most of the players of the new gen, they are playing with frame with more than 640 square centimeters. And 90% of them, they are playing with a stringing pattern 16 by 19. So that means the frame are faster and they are more powerful. So coming from this context, we have made the evolution of the Tfight to become more maneuverable and a little bit more powerful.
Yeah, I think that's the right reading for sure. It's the same I'm doing in my work. Like I'm seeing that swing weights are going down. Like if you have the older guy, Novak, and these guys that some have retired, some are still around, they play really high swing weight, like 360 swing weight strong and stuff like that. But while you're seeing guys like Alcaraz or like Danil or these guys, they play lower swing weights. And it makes a lot of sense, you know. Exactly. So you reduce the swing weight a bit from the ISO generation, like a little bit from how you that was pretty high.
Yeah, not only the swing weight, we reviewed the weight distribution of the rackets. And you know, well, you are involved in all the technical matters, so you understand very well that at a similar balance point of the racket, there are many ways to distribute the weight inside. If you distribute it at the extremities with more weight and towards the head, of course, the racket will be much more powerful, but it will be a little bit more difficult to swing. And at same balance point, you can put the weight more towards the center of the racket, so it will be easier to maneuver and you will have a faster swing. So basically, that's what we do. We did with the new Tfight. We distributed the weight more towards the center to ease up the maneuverability. So that implicated some changes in terms of swing weight and balance, depending on all the different frames of the entire range.
Yeah, it seems like a good decision overall. I really felt like I liked the ISO a lot, but I felt like sometimes the swing weight was a bit high. A lot of weight at 12. It felt like it was a little bit sluggish to swing unless you're a very, very good player. But now this one is much more, even on the 305, which is a little bit maybe higher swing weight, but also the 305, 315, they're really like quite whippy now to swing, but you still have good control. I find that interesting. The 305 model has a quite rare string pattern on the market, like the 1819. What's the thinking there to have the maximum like control?
Yes, so the thinking was to provide a frame with a little bit more control, but still be able to put power and spin onto the ball. So of course now the standard stringing pattern is the 16 by 19. It allows best power, more string elasticity for power and spin. But 18 by 19 was, we felt, the good mix, not to go to the extreme, the 18 by 20, which is now quite elitist, more difficult to put some spin onto the balls. So 18 by 19 was really the good combination. And in fact, we tested it first with our top players, and now lots of them, they are playing with it because they like really tennis is always a matter of feeling and finding the good combination. And with 18 by 19, it's very specific. You have just this good mix of keeping spin and power, but having a little bit more control.
Yeah, I think it's very good. Like these hybrid patterns of 1620 and 1819 are becoming more popular because I think like for most club level players, 1820 is far too difficult to play with. And even on the pro tour, you're seeing fewer 1820. Even Novak switched from 1820 to 1819, Daniil 1819. So you see these players even that hit quite like flat and counter punching, they prefer having a slightly more open pattern while still having like 18 mains. So I think that makes sense.
Yeah, that's the evolution. And in fact, this combination is interesting because this 18 by 19, you cannot find it much for other brands. So that makes it very interesting. Yeah.
This year, you decided to go with pretty, like I would say, gutsy decision to go glossy. It makes sense because most people want glossy cosmetic from what I talk to. And it's very much a thing that's missing in the marketplace. But what was your thinking internally in Tecnifibre? Like, let's go glossy. Will it affect how the racket plays, or will it affect the visuals, like in terms of how players perceive the racket?
Yeah, it will affect mostly the visual. But as I mentioned at the beginning, going for glossy was in line with the racket evolution. We wanted the racket to have more speed, and the glossy finish gives a more speedy look. So that's why we went for glossy. So it was a very natural decision to come to that.
Yeah, I love how it looks, and it makes it stand out so much, which I think makes sense. So I'm surprised why other manufacturers don't do it. But also you're thinking around like focusing on having white rackets and instead of just trying like loads of different cosmetic and having different colors. Is that something you discuss internally? Is that something you decided, okay, we're going to go white, red, and blue? They're the French colors. We want to make sure we are, our origin. How was the thinking there?
So first, just one comment. It's not French color because it's a Tecnifibre color, because originally Tecnifibre was the blue and the red. So that's why overall it's more a Tecnifibre color. It's not a will from us to say the French racket. And then, of course, to answer your question, the cosmetic strategy is a topic that we discuss a lot internally. Lots of discussion internally. But it's very clear in our mind. The white cosmetic, it started like 6 years ago or something like that. Because Tecnifibre, we are a very young brand in the market. So we need to be recognized. We need to be seen by everybody. So when a top player plays on the Grand Slam, you must say, oh, this is the Tecnifibre racket. In the shop, we need to, that someone enters the shop, say, oh, here is the Tecnifibre corner. So that's why we started with the white, because at that time, nobody was using white color. So white is very tennis-oriented color. It's the history of tennis. It's part of Tecnifibre corporate colors, and it was our way to be recognized in the market. So that's why we started with the white, and we started really the white cycle, having little by little all of our ranges of racket with this white base. And the results were very good because, in fact, now if you say, oh, the white racket, this is Tecnifibre. When you see a white racket, everybody says, oh, this is the Tecnifibre racket. So the result is good. When you enter the shop, you can recognize easily the Tecnifibre corner. So I think our strategy was very good. We pushed it until 2 years ago. We pushed it a lot because of our rackets were very, very white, and our 3 different ranges, they were very white. So having not so much differentiations between the different ones. So that's why since 2 years, we started a new cycle, keeping the white base, but integrated little by little more colors onto the racket. So the purpose was to give more identity to the different silos and create a differentiation so that you don't become mixed up between Tfight, TFX1, and TF40. So that's why within the years now, the TFX1 has more yellow colors on the racket to create more its own identity, and also TF40 has more khaki and orange color onto the frame, also for its identity. In terms of Tfight, you mentioned it's very white and with the blue-red color accents. And in fact, this is because Tfight is our flagship franchise. So this is we say the quintessence of Tecnifibre colors, very white frame, blue and red Tecnifibre corporate colors for the best identity of Tecnifibre.
Do you get like feedback from your pros? Like you have quite some famous pros like using Tfights especially, but also you have Motet with the TFX1. But if we talk about like Medvedev, Swiatek, Bublik, Grigspor, Eubanks and so on, do they come back like, oh, can I get a black racket? Or do they like that you keep going white?
In terms of cosmetic, they don't mention anything. They really like the rackets because our racket, they are very pure. They have lots of little details. So when you see it from far away, it seems very white. And then when you get close to it, you see all the different details. So our top players, they really like the rackets. They really like also to feel different because our designs are quite different from all the rackets of the market. So they are giving us lots of feedback for technical matters to improve their rackets year after year. But in terms of design, they are very satisfied. So they don't mention anything except the glossy finish, which they were all playing with glossy. So they like that now for the commercial version, it's also glossy.
Yeah, I like it too a lot. I think it looks amazing. In terms of the different weight ranges you have, so you have like quite a wide range, which is I guess good in these days. Like because if you start like the lightest racket you have is 255 grams. That's the 100 square inch version, and that's I guess like towards beginners, like maybe older veteran players. And then you go up to the 315 grams. What are you thinking around like offering different weights to different players? Like how important is that? Because most people don't customize, so they need the option.
Yeah, so that's very important for us because Tecnifibre, this is the players' company. Everything starts for players and everything is made for the players. So the purpose behind all these weights and the different specs of the rackets is to to have a range. You can start your career with Tfight and finish your career with Tfight. So it starts the first weight 255 grams. So very light. This is the first adult racket. So junior, when they leave the junior racket, they start to be involved more in a serious training competition. They start with the 255 grams. And then once you evolve in your career, you become stronger, you become better, you improve your technical and physical abilities. Then you can go up in terms of weight little by little to match your evolution. And that's very interesting because, of course, we are always focused on the rackets for top players, the 300 grams to 315 grams. But with the evolution of this new Tfight and with the new weight distribution, we were able to lower the balance of the 255 gram, the 270 grams, and for learning tennis to improve more maneuverable specs of the rackets while not losing the power. Very important to learn better the technique and get better into tennis. And all the coaches with whom we tested the racket and to whom we presented the new range, they are very happy about this evolution because really the rackets, they provide the specific signature but adapted to the different levels. So that's what is very interesting, and that's why we have many different rackets in the range.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because people like choice. I mean, sometimes you can get overwhelmed, but with the different weights, at least you can say, okay, I'm not strong enough to play the full 300 gram version. I can go 285, but you have at least a similar spec, So I think that is quite important to offer that choice. If you like the kind of idea behind the Tfight, which is like the balance between power and control. One nice feature I like on your rackets is that extra, since I string my own rackets, right? Like that extra space for knots, the eyelets on the,
Yes,
that's a good detail. I really like that. I just wanted to point that out for you. When it comes to the grip shape, you've stayed with quite a rectangular grip shape through these years. Like, is that something you ever plan to change, or is something you discuss internally? Is this optimal grip shape, or should we become a bit more towards a rounder grip shape like our competitors? How's your thinking there?
Yeah, we discuss all the different technical features of the racket. At the moment, our intention is really not to change the grip shape because now Tecnifibre, our base of players is bigger and bigger year after year. The feedback are quite good with the shape that we have. So once you are used to a specific grip shape, the purpose is not to change. I think we have the accurate shape because our TFX1, the grip shape was a little bit rounder than what we were doing on the Tfight. And that was part of the feedback that intrigued some of our players. And that's why for TFX1, we will in the future change the grip shapes towards similar to Tfight because the Tfight grip shape, it's really we have almost 100% good feedback. So at the moment, we are not willing to change.
That makes sense. Makes sense. And how important for you is the player feedback? Like you're having advanced players, you're testing yourself, of course, but to actually gather that feedback, it takes quite a process, I guess, for you guys to develop. Like, we're gonna launch the rackets in 3 years, and this is the process we have to go through.
Yeah. Making a new racket, it always takes time. And it also depends on the levels of innovation and evolution you want to put onto the rackets. So that's why launching a new technology, it can last 10 years, or you can make a very simple development that would last 2 years. It's really depending on the level what you want to do. For the Tfight 225, the process was a little bit long because we went really, really deep onto the analysis regarding the different specs of the rackets. We wanted to ease up the maneuverability, but not losing the power. So we made many tests with different kind of levels of specs, adapted to different also frame section to see if we go very maneuverable, but if we lose all the power, then it will not match. So overall, it took a very long time with many different, with many testing. So to answer maybe more clearly your question, I think a regular process would be at a minimum 3 years to develop a new frame.
How important is like accessories for your sales partly, but also for customers, like to have a nice looking bag? I always like Tecnifibre bags personally, was a big fan of like the materials you used and the quality of the bags. So how important is that to have like a matching bag for the club player, but also like obviously for the pros if it's
Yes. So the bags, the accessories, it comes with the entire, we say the marketing package, because you put your racket into the bag, so it's good to have something that can match. For Tecnifibre, we make a mix between always performance and overall look. And that's why our bags first, they are focused on performance, also focused on the story behind our bags. is to be close to the ATP World Tour, to the player on tour. They say the players, they travel all year long and they are on court all the time. So they need a bag that is durable. So we say built to endure the toughest conditions of the tour. And that's why our bags, they are all made with the specific material, the tarpaulin, which is unbreakable, completely waterproof, a kind of similar material as the North Face bags to have best durability to endure the condition. So we have a specific performance. And then in terms of look, we try to match the racket launches to make the overall package. So of course you saw that with the Tfights, this is very corporate identity, the bag that will be played on tour. So this is Tecnifibre corporate colors, full white with the blue and red accent. But then we have different colors depending on what the players would like. We have a navy colors. Navy color, it matches also Tecnifibre identity, what we do with our textile. Navy and black. Lots of our coaches, they play with this color. Or we have the full black, quite urban, a little bit more modern colors. So we have different colors that can appeal to different tastes.
Yeah, and you have the string, obviously, which is quite important. It's a huge part of your success story, I would say, because you were always quite famous for very good strings. You have like some very premium multi-filament strings. Will you launch like a new color or a new string together with the Tfights, or is it like your current range, or do you have like a recommended string for the new Tfight?
With the new Tfight, we recommend the Razor Soft. Razor Soft is our latest launch. Since we launched it, the story is enormous for Tecnifibre because the success of the string has been huge. All of our team of players, well, most of the players, they started to use it. Once they started to use it, they have won tournaments. Daniel last year, it started his series of wins. Bublik, when he started to play with it, also he started to win. So the story was huge. And since that, commercially, the string has started to impose itself and having a good success story for us in the polyester monofilament segment. So that's why we focus on the Razor Soft, perfectly adapted with Tfight. And we propose it in a different color. We have the dark gray, almost black, or the white version that can match also perfectly with the racket. So Razor Soft is really the number one choice for using with the Tfight. But of course, as you just mentioned, the string is very strategic for Tecnifibre. The company was born with the string. We manufacture with our own factory 100% of our string, both the PU multifilament and the monofilament polyester, made in our own factory, all of them made in France. So string is a main focus and always a main focus for Tecnifibre.
Yeah, you have some excellent strings. I do want like, so if you want, say, a slightly softer string for your Tfight, would you recommend like going to a softer polyester or like even maybe to a triax, which is kind of a blend of a polyester and a multifilament?
Yes, you can have either choice in the offer. You can go from very soft to very stiff or more stiffer. And then it will really depend on the play style. But having the extremes, it's always come back towards the middle. So I think if you are used to monofilament, Razor Soft will be a very good choice because it creates firmness. You have the spin feel, but still having with the PU inside the monofilament, it's soft enough not to hurt your arm. If you are used more to PU multifilament, the Triax, the Duramix are also good choices because they will be softer, a little bit more elastic, but still quite firm to provide enough control to maintain the ball on the court. So, yeah, from Duramix to Razor Soft, they are the very good choice to play with the new Tfight.
And maybe this is not your area, but I wanted to talk about it anyway. Like, so balls have been under a lot of criticism. Like, how important is like Tecnifibre balls for you guys as a company, and is it something you look forward to? Like, how can we make the balls better to compete with other brands and other balls? Because like, there's been so many complaints about the quality of balls over the years.
Yeah, you mean the complaints in general?
Yeah, the pro
So,
tour complaints, like Daniil, for example, complained not about your balls, but about like balls on tour because they're getting heavy and you're not able to hit winners as easily, and you kind of struggle with your arm as well sometimes for players, even on the pro.
yeah, so we heard some comments of the pro player from Daniel and many other pro players. They commented on the ball quite negatively. For Tecnifibre, the good thing for the balls is that we also have our own factory. Our balls, so we manufacture our balls and we master completely the production process. So I don't talk about other brands because I don't know. I'm not in their secrets to know what they have done. But I can assure that for Tecnifibre, we didn't change the process. We didn't change the raw materials. So the balls, they are exactly the same as what we were doing the past years. So I didn't hear, well, no, the players, they never commented badly on Tecnifibre balls. I think we are still selling balls a lot because in terms of product, this is also a very strategic product. We sell lots of balls. This is strategic for the sales of the companies. This is also strategic to enter the clubs and be involved in club levels. And in club levels, there are not so many complaints about Tecnifibre balls. So I think we are quite safe about that. That's in terms of production. Maybe if I can say something about the play style, we know that over the years, the players are playing with more powers. They are putting also more spin onto the ball. So that's the evolution. And that, of course, for the balls, the new play styles are more damaging for the balls than the play styles of before. So I think probably not only the production, but also the play styles have created this evolution to the balls.
Yeah, and also the polyester strings if we go further back,
Yes.
because like now you have sharp strings with players sitting with faster swings, more spin,
Yes.
sharper strings. So obviously the ball is gonna like really go dead quickly. Like it's difficult to make a ball that's gonna last a long time for the pros, but it's interesting also to see like what you can do to improve. So it's interesting to hear your opinions. So now in January we have the launch. Will players be playing in the Australian Open with the new cosmetic, with the new Tfight?
Yes, the launch is ready now. It's coming. It's a big launch because you see, Tfight is our flagship franchise, so it's very important in terms of image and in terms of sales. Of course, players will start playing with the racket from the Australian Open, so everything is ready. They have their rackets, and should be the beginning of a good launch. So we are looking forward to that.
Very exciting, very exciting. So my last few questions here, like, so what about you? What racket do you choose? Are we all line?
So I also play with the Tfight, and now I'm playing with the 315 because I'm the old generation. I'm used to a heavier product. When I was younger, I was playing with product more than 330 grams. I've always been used to these kinds of product. So I still play with the 315 and with the new range. And now I'm a little bit struggling. I don't know if I need to change to 300 or not. So
Yeah, I like that one more than the 305, 18, 19. And I'm similar to you, like maybe we're similar age as well. Like I always played heavy, like old school rackets, 330 grams, 320 grams unstrung, right? And now you need more and more power all the time. And you're feeling like, okay, the 315 was good for me because I like the 16, 19 a bit more, so I get more help with spin. I don't need to worry so much. The 18, 19 for me is a bit too low. It's more for like a super advanced players probably, but I find the 1619 on the Tfight 315 to be kind of perfect, But I heard many good things about the 100 square inch, 300 grams. So I'm very curious. I haven't tried that yet, but this one I would definitely want to try in March when it's time.
yeah, you should try it because it's very interesting. And yeah, we have made all the different testing with the new products of the new T-Fight. And it's very interesting in Tecnifibre range that close to 300 gram, you have the 300 gram 100 square inch, 300 gram 98 square inch, 305, 98 square inch, and 18 by 19. So three rackets within 5 grams. but each of them they have, has its specific particularity that would make it like it or not, and very very adapted to your game. So that's what is quite rich with the Tecnifibre range, and that's what makes it also difficult to choose one racket.
Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, I've noticed really like that now. It's not, even if you're used to playing heavier, it's quite nice to go down in weight and get a bit more swing speed. And I think like most players of any decent level, like strong intermediate upwards, is probably happy with 300 to 305. You don't need to go that much heavier. But the 315, to give that some credit, is that it's quite head light, so it's easier to swing than you think of the weight. Like if you put a lot of weight in the head with 315, it will be tough. It will be pro level, but now you can actually swing it quite fast. So the balance is important, of course.
Yeah, balance is important. But now with the evolution that we made with the 300, there are more headlights, so they are easy to maneuver, specifically the 305. You know, the 305, the current version, the former version, it was quite head heavy. So we reviewed that, and if you see the specs of the balance, the swing weight, they are really going down. So it makes it a very nice experience, more a headlight. So for player who have a fast swing, it's a very good racket. But if you mention me with which racket I should play, my swing is not so fast. I'm an old generation guy, so that's why I like to have a little bit more weight onto the racket, so that the rackets provide me a little bit of power.
Yeah, and it's all different on the style, right? So if you have a style that it's not all the pros play with super fast swings, like even like Andy and Novak, they don't swing as fast as Carlitos and Sinner and these guys, So it's all different, like depending on your style of game. So I think that is important to understand. Like, okay, are you like swinging super fast, or do you want more stability from the frame when you actually go through the contact point? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This is really depending on your game, and you mentioned the evolution that you are talking about. It really matches what we wanted to do. Because if you look even more backwards than the Murray or Djokovic, the Sampras, Agassi, they were also playing with a much heavier racket, much smaller head size, except for Agassi. So if you compare the evolution with the 90s, it's even much more impactful, much bigger than that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So how do you string your racket now? That's my final question.
I
Tension
would
and then string.
me, I use the Razor code because I like to have a good stability to really master my shots. So for my side, 315 with Razor code is really the best mix now.
It's a good string. It's a good string. I also must say I like your clothes, like your apparel gear. I mean, you're wearing a nice hoodie there as well. But I've actually bought Tecnifibre clothes in the past because I really felt like the quality and the fit of the clothes are good. So that's something that helps. Like if the brand is classy, it's easier to. Not all tennis brands are classy, right? That's my point.
Yeah, that's Tecnifibre positioning. You say it's elegance and performance. So when in the product department, when we start to develop a new product, we always have in mind it must be the best performance aiming at a specific player target. And in terms of look, it must be elegant. So the apparel is really the good range of product that really emphasize this positioning. Our apparel is quite classy. We really focus on elegance. Elegance is a value of tennis within the years. We want to do that. So elegance is really our position. And also, if you mention apparel, you know that now Tecnifibre is part of the Lacoste group. Since we joined the Lacoste group, we benefit from all their know-how in terms of material, way to manufacture, and that's why the quality, the fabrics we are using, it's really top class.
I think that's 100% true. I really like those clothes. All right, Patrice, thanks a lot. It's been very helpful. It's been very interesting. I'm a big fan of the Tfights. I wanted to talk to you about them. I hope people will try them. Now you have a wide range with also 100 screens. So even if you're not like into 98, you can still get a Tfight, and they're beautiful frames also with the glossy cosmetics. So I hope you have like a really very nice Christmas and holiday period now, and you get back to working in tennis now when the season starts in 2025.
Thank you very much. I really enjoyed the conversation. So feel free to contact me anytime to discuss any product launch at Tecnifibre. I will be here for you.
Very good. Thanks, man. Thank you.